Hello and welcome back to 2024 GPVWC Superlights. 3 rounds to go this season, and tonight we've got 51 laps ahead of us at one of the trickiest, the most technical, the toughest circuits on the calendar. Of course, it is the Marina Bay Street Circuit here in Singapore, under the lights tonight. And although the drivers won't be feeling themselves the humidity, the 50-degree heat, the harsh turns, the 90-degree angles, the walls, and very close proximity to the racing surface will definitely be making it tricky for those out on the racetrack. My name is Ross McIntyre, and with Fabian Jungbluth on the cameras alongside me, of course, as always, is Super League race winner Carlos Martin. Carlos, pleasure to have you alongside me, as always. What can we expect from Marina Bay?
Well, this is a very interesting one. The tire wear is pretty high in this track. It was not really expected by any of the teams before going to this track. We were expecting less degradation that we actually were finding out. And we can definitely expect even two stoppers for this race. So we can see some drivers like we've seen in the past, maybe Fido going for a one stop, and we can definitely see some teams going for these two stoppers. And this will make the race very interesting, and it will iconically will make the qualifying less relevant, I would say, although it will still be extremely relevant for this case.
It will absolutely be so. Softest tyres available this week, or this evening, should I say. It's only a Tuesday after all, still early doors in the week. That's the C5s as the soft tyre, the C4 as the mediums, and the C3s as the hard. They are the softest compounds that we have available in our selection here in GPVWC. So that means, of course, theoretically, compared to the other tyres, these things would be faster over a single lap, but run out a lot quicker. But as Carlos just said, degradation not looking as bad as expected. So we should be getting away. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. We are just starting our qualifying session, of course. And, well, there we can see one of the Valet Esports cars out there at the moment going around doing their thing. That looks to be the number 92 of Manuel Biancholia. Great to have him here with us this evening. Yeah, a few drivers having to drop out coming into this race, unfortunately. So the grid not quite as parallel to other rounds, shall we say, as it has been before. Of course, the big one that we're missing, Jack Mayer. First time he's missed a GPVWC race in 6 years. A ridiculous stat for Jack Mayer. Clearly taking a well-earned break as the back-to-back FS1 and FS2 champions. Of course, the Polish driver Paweł Andrzejewski is jumping in the Spark racing car. Of course, all eyes drivers-wise, though, it's on to that number 42 Rotor Formula car in that blue. Alex Laho. Well, today's the day. If all goes well, the Frenchman will be crowned 2024 GPVWC Superlights champion with 2 rounds to spare as well. Of course, you have to remember, we've still yet to visit the Circuit of the Americas or head down to Sao Paulo. So plenty of time left for Alex Laho, but a 64-point gap in the championship back to Sandeep Singh at the moment. Jack Mayer, 31 back. He's out of championship contention anyway, not including the fact that he's not here this evening. For it to, I believe, if my math serves me correctly, if the gap is 52 points or bigger between Laho and Sandeep at the end of this race, then Alex Laho is champion. 51 points or smaller, it's still on. Currently lies at 64 points, so Sandeep's going to need to outscore Alex by 12 points in this one. And given their recent form, I don't think that may necessarily be happening. But discussing recent form, it was one of the Valet Esports cars on pole momentarily because he hasn't actually set a lap yet as everyone starts to put their lap times in. Laho fastest sector. Well, now it is a Valet Esports car on pole position. Laho can only slot it into second. Early doors in this qualifying session as Alessandro Maggio sticks it into pole position. Early doors in this qualifying session. Of course, a private qualifying session here at GPVWC. To be fair, Carlos, I feel like somewhere like Singapore, a private qualifying session, it's probably quite nice not having other cars out on the racetrack, unlike somewhere like Monza where you kind of really want that slipstream.
Oh yeah, definitely. You want to really have a clean track, but the only difficulty is that if there is an incident, there is still debris on track, and that is something you really need to take into account when you look for gaps to do the lap. You actually want to still have some big gaps in case someone crashes and there is a front wing in the middle of the race line. So I will definitely recommend trying to do the last attempt before everyone does, just like Red Bull has been doing at the early of the season to try to prevent a red flag or try to prevent any eventuality that can happen. This can be also applied in GPV because the debris is still on track, even the qualifying is private. And just to mention, as you said before, Alex only needs to be 4th today to be crowned champion, because the gap between P1 and P4 is exactly 12 points. That's the exact amount he needs to outscore Sandeep to be champion. So he doesn't even need to do a podium today to actually be crowned here at Singapore. As we see, Vale has been in the rise since Monza. They were really strong at Monza with Maggio and Hurlock pressuring Alex, and we were seeing them at Singapore. They were really strong as well in pace, although the race didn't go as planned for them at Baku. This is racing, and I think these positions from Maggio and Biancolilla are really, really, really strong, and this is what you actually want. P1 and P2, and maybe we can see Biancolilla slowing down a bit so Maggio can pull a gap, and maybe we can see a bit of teamwork, and it will actually make sense. Vale wants to score a victory before they finish the season, before they do their internal evaluation on should they stay in Superlights, should they go to Super League, because it's a very interesting team, and they could have options in Super League, in my opinion. As we see Chris Gitsoff, almost smashing into the wall. Just to remember, everyone, even if you crash, you have to come back to the pit lane. So there are consequences here if you have a big crash. As we see Luke Mitchell also sliding big time here in Sector 2 of Singapore. So even though you can take more risks because there are less cars on track, you actually need to take into account that if anything happens, just do it in a way you can come back to the pit lane.
Singapore, despite the fact it's quite a new racetrack, it was constructed in the mid-2000s, it's got that real old school street circuit feel to it, and that if you make a mistake, there is a barrier, there is nowhere else to go. It is all about being so precise with every single one of your inputs around here, and just being careful, trying to find that limit and balancing right on the edge. And if you go over that edge, well, normally it is disaster. Let's see Dominic Kurashavin coming to the line now through the big final corner. I think it is technically classed as one corner. As he comes line, sticks it into 7th. Great lap there from the Alpha Sierra driver. Brilliant lap, in fact, to get up into P7. The Ukrainian's done a mega job there, as Manuel Biancolilla is currently on another lap. Purple first sector. I think it is safe to say at this stage now, the Vale Esports car, I think, is the fastest car on the grid. It's just too little too late, really, championship-wise. They spent a lot of the early part of the season really struggling, and a little bit of inconsistency here and there, a little bit of bad luck as well. Alessandro Maggio, for example, he's had 4 DNFs to his name this season, which is, well, more than Alex Laho and Sandeep Singh have combined, and they have a combined of 1. So, tells you all you need to know. But at the moment, Vale Esports looking absolutely on the money. Of course, Joseph Hurlock not here this evening. Another Italian in the other Italian car. Manuel Biancolilla is doing a mighty job at the moment. This could be a mighty lap, maybe to slide up into provisional pole. No, it's not, unfortunately. Middle sector letting him down a little bit there, as Laho bails on that lap. That was a monstrous first sector, a 10th up, as Maggio now does the same, but down in the middle sector. So everyone seems to be struggling a little bit in the middle sector at the moment, which is very, very, very bizarre. Of course, the middle sector, a bit more tight and twisty. It's kind of stop-start 90-degree corners. rather than the first few corners, which are quite flowing as Michelle Gauka gets a little bit out of shape down at turns 1 and 2. Thomas Kutka also starting a lap, running all the way to the wall on the outside. You want to just about clip that sausage curb. Try not to do that, though, and power slide your way over to the wall on the exit, but gets his foot flat to the floor eventually. Just got under 6 minutes left on the clock in this qualifying session. It is currently a Valle 1-2, Maggio and Biancalilla, with championship leader and maybe the man who's taking the crown today, Alex Laho in P4, David Feidock in P4. That's a great effort from him in the True North car. Let's not count him out. And stepping in for, stepping in this week, or this evening, Pavel Andrzejewski's in P5 in the Spark. Jack May is probably getting a little bit nervous worrying about his job next year as Andrzejewski comes into the pits.
I think that could be fine for next year. I think he can choose anything he wants, and any team will actually offer him an opportunity. So I think he will be fine. Regarding the cars you mentioned, Vale Esports is catching up in development to Road to Formula and Spark, which were the two teams who were like at the top for the most of the season. And actually the Vale car is slightly more fitting to this track. This is a track where the body track is almost not relevant, but their car is still a bit inferior in terms of overall development. But I think they catched up in all the work they had to do in the car setup, all the work they had to do in their own testing. So this is props to the drivers and props to the Vale management, because it's not everything how much you develop the car, it's also the other things you need to do in order to be there. So they had the potential to be there, as we see Luke Mitchell finishing the lap now for Redden today, substituting for Lexau. And this is really important. The teams need to understand that, as we see him taking P8, which is a really good position, just right behind Sandeep Singh, they need to understand that it is not only the upgrades. You don't need to give up. Or, for example, let me give another example. Feidock's car is actually 90 points of development behind the most developed car, which is the Road to Formula, and he's still out qualifying, for example, Sandeep Singh, and he's still doing a great job. So it is really important that you, even if there is a slight if you're slightly behind in development, that you don't give up. You still try to understand the car, you still try to work on it, because you can still achieve great results. Because let's remember, Feidock is P4 in the championship, just 20 points behind Jack right now, and with today's Jack not racing, he can catch up a lot, and he can give a bit of a moment for the last races to Jack and contest this P3 overall in the championship.
Should be very interesting to see how it all unfolds. 3 minutes left in this session. Maggio, Biancalilla and Laho is your top three. Vincent Gutt slid into 5th place ahead of Pavel Andrzejewski, as Koroshavin abandons that lap, heads into the pit lane. Of course, during the qualifying and race sessions, as always here in GPVWC, if you hit the escape key on your keyboard, or whatever button you have assigned that teleports you back to the pit lane, that is classed as a withdrawal from the session, a DNF from that session. Of course, you're allowed to do that in practice sessions and the warm-up, which is why you see people just running into a wall at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But hey, we like to keep it fun here in the best GPVWC league, of course, here at Superlights. We are the second step on the career ladder, just one away from the Super League, where the best of the best in sim racing go to battle it out for glory and to add their name to the roll of honor many, many, many years long. It should be interesting to see how it is going to unfold. As we can see, Davide Zanini a little bit down, unfortunately. Can see in P22. Here's his teammate Jan Sikora, who's in P12 at the moment, about 7/10 faster by the looks of things. It's pretty tight between the top three. They're all about 1/10 of a second, or within 1/10 of a second of each other. And we've got a 4/10 gap back to David Feidock. Oh, goodness me, those guys are so good up the front. And the cars are really good as well, honestly. I mean, it's not always, just about the car, Carlos, but, the Valle and the Road to Formula cars are, they're the class of the field.
Yeah, they are alongside Spark the three most developed cars by far, as we see Renko actually going for crossing the finishing line. Let's remember, Fusion did a really good job. They go for P11. They did a great job at Baku. They were working together. We saw it was a bit unlucky for Maxime with the disconnection, but it was a great result for Fusion Racing. And it just shines this argument I was giving before. You need to put the effort, you need to put value on it, and you will eventually prevail. And one way or another, everything goes together. If you do testing, if you do setup development, you will understand more the car, you will know what to improve more in, develop more in the car, etc. So this is just goes everything together, and Vale are the most performing team right now, I would say. But we know that I jinxed a lot of teams in the past races, so I don't want to jinx anyone. Also to note, Vincent Gad finished the lap P5, really nice position for Vincent, so Spark P5, P6, and Sandeep crossed the finishing line with 1 minute 42 to go, so I'm not sure he will have an extra attempt. He's still sitting in the pit lane, so definitely it will be the better position for him, P7 as best. So we can see Renko going for a second lap, actually improving slightly his laps. I can also see at the front, none of the top three are actually improving. Fidok is actually improving right now, as we see Renko finishing the lap P9 with the 2 laps in a row. Okay, this is something new we didn't see during this season. Fidok going for a very nice lap, as we see Pavel also P4, so this lap is important to finish it correctly, to get this P4 overall. So we see him crossing the finishing line in P4. He takes it back from Pavel by just a few thousands, 24 thousands actually, as we see Maria actually going purple sector 2. Actually, Matthew is even more purple. Actually, Matthew just took it from him. And we will see him finishing the lap. Ooh, I don't think that will be good. Yeah, just a cut lap. Well, just not improved enough. So we see Maggio just trying to secure this pole position. Alex is in the pit lane. Pavel finished. Jan finished. This is just show off from the Italian driver, as he doesn't improve at the end, but he's shown what he's got in, what game he has. He is in a splendid form right now.
Well, both the Vale Esports guys look very, very sketchy coming through the last corner. Biancalilla almost having a huge Stroll-esque accident, but he's done it again. The Magic Man continues to romp through Superlights and showcase what he can do. It is, of course, Alessandro Maggio who slots onto pole position, and Biancalilla makes it a Vale Esports 1-2 as well. And the top three separated by 85 thousandths of a second, with surely champion-elect Alex Laho in P3. David Fidok, a fantastic lap to get into P4 there from the True North driver, with Pavel Andrzejewski. Welcome back, you, to P5. That's brilliant, brilliant stuff from him. Jan Dragoon as well. Second place last time out at Baku, and has been on some fantastic form right now, and is doing a great job here as well this evening, sticking it into a very, very nice position. Just behind him, Vincent Gutt, the other Spark Racing driver, the team boss of Road to Formula, the only man who can mathematically stop Alex Lowe in the championship. Sandeep Singh, he goes off of row number 4, with Remco de Jeu, the Dutchman, in P9. And Luke Mitchell for Red Ven Racing, rounding out our top 10. That's a nice lap there from Luke Mitchell. 38 or 30.8, should I say. Very, very smooth indeed. Dominic Koroshavin, initial strength in the session, but unfortunately faded back into the midfield. He's alongside Matthews Pishkan in P12. Jan Sakura starts 13th alongside Florian Geyer. Alexander Agota is 15th with Tom van der Voort in P16. Maxime Bulio is 17th with Thomas Kutka in P18. Michel Galka's 19th, and Chris Gitsov in the other Alfa Sierra car is in P20. Bit of an Alfa Sierra sandwich going on that graphic. With Davide Zanini, the Italian Panini, he starts in P21. Purgis Miram in P22. And Osama Kanani starts in P23 and last for PZZW. We are a driver down, mathematically. I believe it is the other Chaos car. There is only one Chaos out there. That'll be Florian Gaia. So hopefully everything's okay over at Chaos Racing. And they have had a few drivers so far this season, it must be said, but today they've just decided to turn up with the one, which, you know, fair enough. Do what you want to do. Apparently they did the same thing last time out as well, so they may just be talking out of my behind. But it is time for the warm-up session. Again, if you are just joining us with Fabian Jungbluth on the cameras, you join myself, Ross McIntyre, and the incredibly brilliant Carlos Martin alongside me for what is the 14th round now it is of the 2024 GPVWC Superlights season here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. And it should be very, very interesting to say the least. We've just had a brilliant qualifying session. Now we've got our 10 minutes of warm-up and then we're into the racing action. So then, Carlos, you're quite good at predicting things. Off of that qualifying, who's looking good for the race, do you reckon?
I think every single prediction I did here on the broadcast, I actually failed miserably or actually DNF'd. So for the sakes of the championship, I will say Alex Lehoux wins today. And although he has a very difficult job, because starting from P3 with the two pallets in front is a very difficult mission to actually beat them. On a serious note, I think Maggio today will take it.
Should be quite interesting to see if the Magic Man can hold on for a race win. Of course, we know how passionate he is. Well, there you go. That's Carlos's prediction anyway. But Alessandro Maggio, closest he's been was second at Monza after starting from pole. That time, Alex Lehoux was just too good. Can he become our 5th different race winner in 2024? Only time will tell. We've got 51 laps even to decide who's going to be on top at this one. 51 laps, potentially separating Alex Lehoux from a GPVWC title. We already know the Road to Formula are heading up to Super League next year. They dropped that one on us very casually in the interview box 2 weeks ago when we were congratulating them on picking up the team's title well in advance. So it should be interesting to see how it's going to happen. But Carlos Martin reckons it's going to be Alessandro Maggio. I think I'm inclined to agree with you, Carlos, to be fair. I think the stars could be aligning for the Valley Esports driver today.
I think the only thing it can go really bad is that they get too confident and they pit in the first stop where anything of big traffic can be, and then maybe lose a lot of momentum towards the maybe one-stoppers. I think maybe there is only one or two one-stoppers. Surely Fidok has been the best tire manager this season alongside Sandeep. Maybe Sandeep goes for it as well, starting from P8, so maybe it's a possibility for him. But Ross, we are not speaking the very important thing we should be speaking out. Do you know what it is?
That you're really cool and amazing?
No. GPVWC Day. We should be speaking about that.
Did that get announced?
Yeah, it is announced.
I completely missed that.
No way.
Why do we have a live reaction with me while we figure out what's actually happening? Because I just completely missed that one. Let's try and find it as I'm desperately scrolling through the Discord. Of course, if you join the Discord, links down below. I can't actually find it, Carlos. Why don't you read us out for it while I try and find it?
Yes, well, I don't think I'm spoiling anything because it's been announced at least. If I'm spoiling, well, Menno can kick in my butt or anyone, but I'm pretty sure it's already public. We're going to Warsaw, we're going to Poland. So this is great. I'm pretty sure it is in November. I think it's the weekend from the 15th, 16th, 17th, but I have to check that. I don't remember from my mind right now. But yeah, this is the event for this year that we will have in GPVWC Day. And It is fantastic. I recommend anyone and everyone to come and join us. Even if you don't race, you should actually come.
Well,
I'm coming.
yeah. Live update, brilliant. GPVWC, we're going to Warsaw. That's amazing. Well, thank you, Carlos, for bringing that to my attention. I mean, I'll definitely be going. I went to the one in the UK last year, had a great time, so I'll definitely be going to that one. Are you going to be going too, or?
Yes. I'm definitely going too. Didn't you see me last time in the UK? Huh? Didn't you?
Yeah. Sorry, it was a year ago. It's been ages. I'll definitely be going to Warsaw. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't even realise that had been announced, to be brutally honest with you. So, there you go. That's the more you learn every single day. GPVWC Day is heading to Poland at some point in the near future. Back to it. Yeah, so that's brilliant. So if you want to come along and meet some of us and, you know, yearly end of season meet up and do some karting and visit Poland, and yeah, GPVWC Day. If it's your first one, I'd highly recommend. It's a great evening / day / few days, depends what you make of it.
Let me confirm it. Is Saturday 16th the event, and we will do some around visiting, slight visiting on Sunday, the 17th of November. And let me say something. Ross is great in everything, but the only thing you don't need to be like Ross is to check Discord. You actually need to click the link down below and check the GPVWC Discord every day and every moment and every second. That's the only thing Ross doesn't do perfect. The rest, he's perfect.
Yep, guilty as charged. I will admit, I am generally terrible at messaging and opening Discord and things. So, yeah, very much guilty. But yeah, if you're new to GPVWC, head down to the links below the Discord, or you can go to the website gpvwc.com. If you fancy getting involved, if you fancy coming along to GPVWC Day. In what is little over a month's time now. We've got 3 minutes left of this warm-up session. So some great news there. Thanks very much for bringing that to my attention once again, Carlos. But yeah, this could be an interesting race if we go back to the race for a moment. 51 laps. We both think Alessandro Maggio is going to be on top. Maggio doesn't look like he's gone out in this warm-up session to my untrained eye, just having a flick through the live timing, and no, he hasn't. Biancalilla has, and has been lapping the fastest of everyone. So the Valet esports car, race pace-wise, also looking very strong if this warm-up session is to be believed, but we've also not really seen a proper effort from Alex Laho just yet. He's kind of been petering around, doing his own little thing, making sure everything's working as intended. But those top three in qualifying, with Maggio, Biancalilla, and Laho, they were separated by less than a tenth of a second, so we could have a very interesting race in our hand. Again, similar thing to what we did momentarily see in Baku last time out, Carlos, where we had, until Maggio put it in the wall, you kind of had both the Valet cars there fighting against one Road to Formula car. So again, if we manage to keep both of the Valet cars in the race beyond lap number 8, it could be quite interesting to see how they work together, if we maybe get some team orders going on or something like that.
Mm-hmm. By the pace Manuel is actually doing right now, I think he's actually pushing the tires a lot. So I think definitely they will go for a two-stopper. Although it might sound cocky, if that's pushing, I'm not impressed right now. But if that's saving, I'm very I would be extremely scared if that's the case for example, Alex Lehoux, because saving 34.2 it's massive. If that's actually pushing, I think it's pretty well average. No, not average. It's good, but it's not crazy. Let's say. I think right now a lot of drivers are just when you go into the warm-up, you just try to get a feeling with the car of more or less what you want to drive. There's a lot of traffic and everything, people going here down in the inside, diving, etc., practicing pit entries, race starts, which are really important. Let's mention it here. The track position is key. Therefore, the pit entries are extremely important to practice, as we can see Vincent actually practicing it. This is the most one of the most important things. You actually don't want to touch to cross the white line on the exit, which is extremely easy to do with these cars. And the reason is these cars are really long, and you actually need to be really careful. You actually need to kind of late steer into when you do the turn 1 in the pit exit. So this is really important. You don't want to take a penalty, a 5-second penalty, and lose the race because of that, because the gaps will be very, very tight at the end, unless you have a really superior pace compared to the rest. Vale looks good. They were looking really good in the qualifying. The only question mark I would say they had in the previous rounds was a bit more tire wear related, I would say. Why do I say this? In Monza, they went for the hard tire and they were conceding gap sooner to Alex, so they were struggling a bit more in that end. And something similar happened in Baku as well. We could see Joseph and Maggio actually having a lot of pace in the early stages of the stint, but then Alex actually being able to recover that gap and overtake them on track. So I think that's the only question mark here, although must be said and must be mentioned that here overtaking is way more complicated than Monza and way more complicated than Baku.
Should be interesting to see. Warm-up session is done and dusted. We are moments away from getting going here in virtual Singapore, getting underway after those 5 red lights we all so desperately crave, we all desperately love and long to see before 51 laps await us around the Marina Bay Street circuit. The drivers will be having last discussions with engineers, teammates, team members, say whatever you will. Maybe they're all in a giant Discord call together. I've seen some people do that before, but making sure everything is working and ready. Last little checks on the sim rig, on their own hardware before they get going. And then, of course, they'll awkwardly teleport their way out onto the grid. And then it's the formation lap. And then it is time to go racing. Here in Singapore, should be very, very interesting to see what's going to unfold. Of course, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you're supporting. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Can Alex Laho take the title today, or will he do the most Alex Laho thing you've ever seen and put it in the wall on the second to last lap of the race after dominating the entire thing? Anyone can guess, I suppose. Still waiting for the cars to come out onto the grid. Hopefully not going to be too much longer. We did have a slight issue with this last time out in Baku. There we go. Someone's out now. That'll be the Valley Esports car of, I believe, Manuel. That is Manuel, yeah. Biancalilla heading out onto the circuit. He'll be starting from P2 alongside his teammate, the Magic Man, Alessandro Maggio.
Can I do a question to the chat? Because I know Massimiliano Rivoli is actually listening to us in the YouTube stream. If you guys win today, can you come to the interview to do us some Italian classes to us so we can pronounce the names perfectly? I'm sure he will join with joy. Sorry, mate. I know he's there and I know he will come eventually. We can start now with the grid.
Yeah, let's run into the grid, shall we? Oh, I do love my job sometimes, I'll say that much. Right then, pole position goes the way of the Magic Man, Alessandro Maggio, as Manuel Biancalilla locks out the front row for Valley Esports. Alex Laho, 51 laps separate him from Destiny. He starts P3, just behind him. Was one of the True North cars, I believe it was David Feinhock. P5 is Pavel Andrzejewski with Janjugu in P6. Vincent Gutt is 7th. And the team boss over at Rotor Formula Racing starts in P8. Renko de Jus is 9th, with Luke Mitchell rounding out the top 10. With Dominic Kirashavin and Matthews Pijkan, they start on the 6th row of the grid. P13, Jan Sakura with Florian Guy, the sole Chaos car in P14. Alexander Ragota starts in 15th with Tom van der Voort, definitely Tom van der Voort, definitely not Vincent van der Voort, he's in P16. Maxime Bulio is 17th alongside Thomas Kutka, with Michal Gauka and Chris Gitzov rounding out our top 20. 3 more drivers left to run through. They are, of course, Davide Zanini in P21, Purgis Miram in P22, and Osama Kanani in P23. That's your grid heading into this one. Any final predictions coming into this, Carlos?
How many cars are finishing today? I will say 14.
14?
Yes.
I'll go a little bit higher than that. I'd say I'd like to see. I'm going to go 17. I think 17 are going to finish. We'll wait and see, I suppose. Drivers just making their way through the. Well, I'm going to be brutally frank, man. Our bastardized final sector. This absolute horrible Frankenstein bit. I don't know why they changed it. They didn't need to change it. It was perfectly fine before.
No,
I really don't like it. Can they change it back? I don't like the final sector anymore.
No,
I don't like it.
It's much better like this. Much better. Much better.
Yeah, but you're coming from a driver's perspective, Carlos. I'm coming from a commentator's perspective.
But from
where
a commentary is better as well. No,
but more accidents happened on the old layout. It was more fun because everyone crashed. Yeah, more action.
No, there is more action now. Like right now, the 2 stops is feasible because of that, precisely. Because we have this extra straight. And otherwise, I can tell you, I would go 1 stop and do full catenaccio Italian strategy, football defensive magic art. Because, right now I think it's great and it offers more. It's still really difficult to overtake. I think if you want to defend with push to pass, you will actually be able to defend it. Let's hope for no incidents into turn 1. We don't want spice today. I think today is not the day for spice.
Well, I think spice might be what we're getting because it's the Marina Bay street circuit where anything can happen. And as a great man once said, it normally does. Chaos potentially awaits us. Destiny potentially awaits the man who starts in P3. We've got the red lights. It is lights out. We are underway. Great launch there from our pole sitter as they bomb down into turn 1. Maggio doesn't have to go defensive on his teammate. A wonderful start from the Valley Esports driver. He'll inherit the lead after the opening few corners. Looked like someone was a little bit sideways there further back in the pack, but all seemingly clean, and the flags are green as they bomb their way down into turn 4. Now there's awkward, not quite a straight section. Look at the cars jostling for position. Full on elbows out, trying to slot in anywhere you can, trying to make overtakes anywhere you can. As Maggio and Bianchalilla try and shoot away at the front, we've got some moves further back in the pack being made. As Jan Dragoon and Pavel Andrzejewski getting a bit too close for comfort. Wheel-to-wheel contact between the pair of them, but they're going to be okay to continue. That looks like it was Dominic Koroshavin who found himself pointing the wrong way. He's dragging a front wing underneath himself. Who did that belong to? I'm not entirely sure. That would be Florian Guy, who's holding up the entire field behind him with no front wing. Carlos Martin, you said you didn't want spice, and we've already got some.
Yeah, we already got some, and this is very important for the leaders because this incident is holding up everyone who is going long. So this is actually very crucial for Maggio and Manuel, because if they are holding all these drivers who are starting on hard, who are starting on medium, you will actually find the gap sooner, which is about 21.6 and 22 seconds, more or less. 22.5 to be safe. 22.5 is definitely not an undercut range, and you are able to be in front. So this is actually key. This 3-second gap that there is between, well, there is almost 5 between Mitchell and Pichon. This gap is crucial for the drivers up in front.
It absolutely is, and of course you got to remember it means they encounter lapped traffic sooner as well, which could also change things and shake things up. Let's get a replay of what happened. Lap 1, very likely it's just a racing incident. Koroshavin on the outside there, finds the wall a little bit, and then he just gets nudged from behind, doesn't he? That's a real shame. And then actually Florian Guy's front wing departing was a complete separate incident. and that's just unlucky. That didn't look like very heavy contact. But his race is already essentially over. It's already essentially a glorified test session. Looks like Chris Gitzoff and Davide Zanini are still behind him, though. So I wonder if they also got caught up in incidents. Had to pit early doors on lap number 1 as well. We're now partway through lap number 2, and Alex Laho is already outside of DRS range. There's a yellow flag out in sector 2. Hopefully that's not someone buried 10 feet in a wall. Doesn't look like it is as we go back to green flag racing. Just looking quickly at the live timing, it looks like there was 3 drivers who started on the mediums. Now looks like there's 5 drivers on the mediums. That's Michel Galka, Thomas Kutka, Florian Guy, Chris Gitzoff, and Davide Zanini have all started on the medium compound or gone onto them in the first few laps. So keep that one in mind. Keep that one around your head. Up the front, though, Carlos Maggio, he's not bolted away into the distance, but he's got Biancalillo right behind him as a rear gunner. Laho also isn't quite right there with him as much as he'd like to be early doors in this race.
Yes, I mean, they're racing in 34.3, which is a good pace, I would say. It's a pretty strong. We can see the gap with Fidok is actually 1.6, 1.5, which is probably Fidok saving a bit more tires than them right now. We can see Pavel also doing a great job in 5th place, pressuring David Fidok. I think at this stage you need to recognize that overtaking is very difficult unless there is a huge drop-off on tires or there is a huge mistake. And what you want to do is to play the strategic game. You want to see where more or less you will land between, I would say, between lap 11 and 15. It opens the pit window for a two-stopper. Even if you are too crazy, you could go lap 10, but I don't think it's too optimal. So I would say that is the opening for a two-stopper, and maybe for a one stopper is about lap 18 with the softs if you want to go for hards, and then a bit later if you want to do with soft medium. I think soft medium is not too feasible, as we see Maggio going for another fastest lap, 34.2, and they are racing in a superior pace compared to the rest of the field right now, and they are looking really good. I think Manuel right now is holding behind. He knows he wants to benefit Alessandro, and he will stay there protecting him. At least is what the feeling I have from watching from the outside. And it's very interesting what you said regarding the tire selection, because the only medium tire selection are Michal Galka and Thomas Kutka, besides P21, P22, and P23, Florian Gaia, Gitzoff, and Zanini. So more or less they will pit everyone in the same lap. As we see a yellow in sector 3, that must be Florian Gaia, which is, I think, out of the race right now. That's unfortunate for the German driver from Chaos, so that makes all the Chaos racing cars out for today. As we see a replay of it heading into the last corner. Oh, probably it is a signed slide stroll. Yeah, you clip the curb in the inside. Ooh, and I think he was done for this race after this. Definitely the car damage was not terminal, but if you feel that you can save an engine for a better race, that maybe you still have good selection. As we see Osama Tani going for the move on Kutka. It is a bit weird. He overtook him with a lot of ease, I would say. So maybe Kutka is having an issue right now. As we can see he's struggling a bit for grip right now, as Koroshavin is having a loop on him. He's on the medium tire, Kutka, right now, whereas the rest, Koroshavin is on the soft tire, and he will try to pressure him. Here the DRS is not too powerful, I would say. It is more interesting the benefit you can get from the push to pass and the slipstream. It definitely helps a bit, but it's not really, as we see. Ooh, he looks for it. This is a corner where diving is a bit complicated. It's not the greatest thing in the world. It's not a full stop corner. You actually want to launch a lot the car with a lot of speed into it. So as we see, he might have a look here into the old Singapore sling, and he actually makes the move before getting into the corner, which props to Dominic. We can see that it's either the medium tires are not working properly, or maybe Kutka has kind of a struggle. Maybe he hit a wall, or maybe he's not feeling comfortable currently with the car setup. And this is a track where the rear tires are a bit limited for the car. And to mention, we can see Pishan here now trying to go for a move on Sikora, and he will actually hold himself. I think we will see this a lot. I think definitely Sikora has some kind of damage because he's holding everyone like crazy. As Mateusz Pishan tries to go for the outside, he leaves some room, and this is completely chaos right now. So we see the Gallery 82 car trying to go through the outside, Rogosa trying to overtake Maxime Bullia on the outside, and Mateusz Pishan still pressuring Sikora. He will have a really nice opportunity now heading into the next braking zone, and Sikora doesn't even defend it. I think he acknowledges he cannot hold it, and he's through. Pishan is through, and also Maxime Bulliot going for the move on the outside, taking advantage of this move from Mateusz Pishan, and Rogosa also trying to do the same. Here in Sector 2, it will be more difficult though, and here just be very careful, you don't want to be sent into the wall. He makes the move stick through the outside. Alexander Rogosa, and definitely Sikora is having a big moment right now. That car is not okay. I can definitely tell you, that car is definitely not okay. And maybe it's time to do a pit and repair the car, because like this you will not opt for anything. You're almost out of the points position, and you already lost a second to the guys in front. To mention as well, we see another yellow in Sector 2. To mention, Alex Lehoux is 2 seconds off from Manuel Bencalilla right now. We see Sikora trying to go defensive on the Drake Racing car of Tom van der Voort, and Tom van der Voort gets the move done through the outside. Yeah, I think Sikora will maybe pit a bit sooner than expected and try to repair the car, because it's definitely not okay.
Yeah, you'd think Sikora might come into the pits fairly soon. I mean, 3 places lost in about 3 corners on the previous tour. Not ideal for the TTF driver. It definitely doesn't look right. You can see the time that he's losing as well. As Luke Mitchell sticks one up the inside of Remco de Giuque, goes through, nicely done. Textbook stuff with a bit of DRS there for the Red Ven Racing driver. And well, up into P9 he moves. Lovely, lovely stuff there to slide on through. Can maybe de Giuque have a look around? Not quite on that occasion for the Dutchman, as they work their way through the middle sector towards the back end of the lap, which, of course, if you were here for the formation lap, you would have known my opinion on the back end of the lap. But according to GPVWC officials, who I shall trust, apparently the only reason they changed the layout was for construction work anyway, and it's going back to how it once was eventually. So there you go. The more you learn every single day. But Vincent Gutt, meanwhile, P7 as it stands, chasing down Jan Dragoon, who has been continually putting on good performances across the last couple of rounds. Singapore, not quite the second place that he's not quite running in second like he was in Baku, must be said. Granted, there was a few crashes to help him get there in Baku, but still for a solid points-paying position at the moment, and looking to end his year off very, very strongly. Again, we head to the Circuit of the Americas in 2 weeks' time, and in a month's time, the traditional final round as we head to Interlagos in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where all the GPVWC comes to an end. And then, of course, we've got GPVWC Day, which is another thing to worry about as well. Lap 8 of 51 here in Singapore, and right now looks to be a bit of a waiting game out on the circuit. Unless your name's Jan Sikora and you're just going backwards, but he has actually come into the pits now, so fair play to the TTF driver. Everyone seems just to be sitting there, biding their time, waiting. No one's really trying to go for moves, trying to force battles. It's only really happening if someone makes a mistake or the gap is evidently there. And right now, everyone seems very, very satisfied to just sit in the train, let the race run, let this first stint run, see how you do as the tread starts to come off the tyres, and then you can figure out your game plan going forward. As it stands right now, Alex Laho is champion, if they finish as they do. Again, Singh needs to outscore Laho by 12 points. If Laho, I think it's even if Sandeep wins, if Alex is 4th or higher, he's still champion. So the odds are very much in the Frenchman's favour. There is Sandeep Singh. And, well, even if Laho doesn't win the title tonight, Sandeep, as it stands, can't race at Kota either. He's got another commitment that evening. So, well, we could essentially hand the trophy to Alex at that point anyway, which is a real shame if that's how the championship will have to end. But you know what Sandeep's like. He is going to keep fighting. He is going to keep pushing. And right now he's pushing up to the back of Vincent Gutt, trying to find a way in, the German, see if he can find his way through. But right now doesn't look like he can. Jan Dragoon also starting to close up a little bit to David Fidok in front. Fidok dropping back a place to Andrzejewski in the opening 9 laps.
It is important to mention Pavel overtook Fidok because Pavel was behind Fidok and he actually overtook him on track. He did the move and he overtook him, but now he's not able to pull the pace that the guys in front are doing. The Ballet have been battering everyone right now. They're racing 4/10 faster than Lehu every single lap, and they are racing 7/10 faster than Pavel every single lap. So they are actually extremely strong, tire-wise, quality-wise, everything. And as I read in the YouTube comments before, and it's really good to mention, the pit window is already open for the race leaders. They have already more than 21-second gap with this P11, with these 5 seconds they lost at the beginning. They were actually key. But if they keep this pace, ironically, they will close their own pit window with Renko Dizio and Luke Mitchell in the maybe next 5 to 6 laps. So and this is something interesting that is currently happening right now, and it is really important to mention. And also good to mention, Luke Mitchell is racing really fast. Luke Mitchell is the 4th best driver right now in terms of pace on track. He is catching up the group he has in front of Pavel, Fidok, Jan Dragoon, Vincent. So this is strategically is really important because now they are approaching to the pit window that is upcoming in the next 2 to 5 laps right now. So this is really important for the eventualities that might happen soon. But I think Alex has no chance right now with the Ballet cars, which are absolutely incredible. They are racing almost in information with just half a second of difference between each other right now. So big props to Ballet right now. So they just need to keep going this way. And we will see how the strategy, because it's not everything closed. You can actually mess up with the strategy, but it looks like their preparation is really strong, and therefore I think they will just nail everything until the end of the race.
That was very, very close to the wall, wasn't it? Alex Laho still there is Laho. He's not quite got the race pace as the Valet Esports guys at the moment. They've managed to pull 2.5, nearly 3 seconds ahead of him now. Still within touching distance though, they're still there. And they're very much playing the team game right now as well. No fighting, no pushing, no shoving. There we see Sandeep Singh in the other Rotor Formula car, who's unfortunately not there to help Alex Laho out in this fight with the Italian machinery up in front of him. He himself has his own fight to worry about, not with the Italians, but with the Germans, with Vincent Gutt in the Spark Racing car ahead of him, as they slide their way through the very technical middle sector, it must be said, through the hairpin and onto the not quite as straight, or the first not quite as straight. Anyway, there's a few of them here in Singapore, under the night lights, of course. The first ever well, Singapore Grand Prix in Formula 1 anyways. There we see Koreshavin coming together and into the wall alongside Chris. That wasn't Chris Gitzoff, that was Kanani, who's up in P17. Koreshavin's down and out of the race. Asmama Kanani is going to be able to continue onwards. 40 laps remaining in the Ukrainian. His day is done. And we just hope that Kanani's car is still intact for the most part. What happened here? Koreshavin goes to the inside. And oh yeah, he just got turned in on there. That was no fault of his own. I just don't think Kanani saw him on the inside there.
I think he had the required over gap to actually do an attempt. As we see Fidok already ahead of Pavel right now. So Pavel also goes for the move now, heading into sector 2. So we can maybe say that Pavel is starting to struggle a bit. Then, as we see Sandeep Singh going for the move on Vincent Gutt, the previous corner. This is the chaos that can actually occur in Singapore, as there is one attack ahead and it opens opportunities on other sides. As he goes for the move now into the old Singapore's lane, and as they go really close to each other, they still side by side, and now Sandeep Singh goes through into the hairpin right now. And this is key racing right now. They're really close to the pit window. We can see also Luke Mitchell really closing up on this group. He's got them 2 seconds in the last 4 laps, so it's been half a second faster. I think Pavel right now is looking for the pit window really soon. He's definitely holding the group right now. And David Fidok going for the move right now. He goes wide. He will need to concede the position right now. Really clear. And now Dragoon will try to take advantage for it. He goes for the outside in the last 2 corners. They will go head to head, side by side into turn 1 right now. Fidok is still somehow slightly ahead, and he concedes. And now he goes wide, and now maybe now Sandeep has the move. And Vincent now might have the move on Sandeep if he slips down right now. I think they are really close into each other. You don't want to concede this, as we see some drivers heading into the pit. Renko Deziu heading into the pits. Rogoza heading into the pits. This is the mentioned pit window from before. They right now need to go for it if you want to pull some undercuts, if you have the gap. These drivers are already 10 seconds off from Alex Lehoux. That is almost 8 to 9 tenths a lap of a gap right now. Pavel, I think, is paying the price right now of the not being experienced enough on this complex Superlights car that he is driving right now. He's definitely doing a great job right now, but this inexperience, yeah, it is really important. And there is nobody behind. There is somebody really, really good behind him. Super League champion David Fidok.
Absolutely, Fidok certainly knows how to pedal. Clearly, the last lap and a half, it is all kicked off here in Singapore, and it's anyone's guess how it's going to all unfold. Pavel Andrzejewski still holding on to P4 at the moment, but for how much longer? Because it's all chop and change behind him. Everybody's still all over the shop trying to find whatever way through they can. Sandeep Singh, one of our movers, he managed to get through Vincent Gutt. Luke Mitchell's also joined the back of this pack. So we've got another car to remember now. Goodness gracious me, it is kicking off here. Let's see how it's all going to unfold. Lap 14 of 51, not horrendously too far away now from the pit stop windows for our front runners. Who bites the bullet first? That is the big question. Sorry, Carlos.
I think it would be Luke Mitchell. I think it's really interesting the position he's in. He's at the end of this group. He's conserving really well the tires, so definitely he could give it a fair shot, as we see some moves already right now. As we see Sandeep Singh trying to attack right now Dragoon, as they collide into each other because they get blocked and they just bump into each other. Really important now that if you have some damage to uncheck it, you don't want to lose this track position right now. But yeah, I think if I was one of them, Luke Mitchell, it looks very interesting. They actually have a gap right now. Luke Mitchell has a gap to pit. He will have about 4 seconds of clearance to actually run, which Pavel right now wouldn't have, ironically. Right now he will just be landing behind Tom van der Voort and Maxime Bullion. So probably he's trying to wait for that. So yeah, this is the options they have right now. So I would definitely pull the trigger if I was Luke Mitchell.
Absolutely.
He did.
Yeah, speak of the devil, Carlos Martin clearly has some sort of deal with the racing gods to be able to predict the future and let us know what's going to happen as Luke Mitchell dives into the pits. Set of medium tyres going on according to the screen. Let's just have a look very quickly at the live timing, and it is indeed a set of the mediums according to mine, so he'll be heading back out and going longer in this stint. Will he be able to make it to the end, do you think, Carlos, or is he still another pit stop to come?
Another pit stop, but he will make at least 3 or 4 positions with just this pit stop, and it is the way to go right now. You don't win too much if you hold on. Wait, Fidok is ahead of Pavel.
Yeah, I was about to say, David Fidok slid his way through Pavel Andrzejewski as well in the meantime. The Brits now up to P4, the Poles down to P5, and Jan Dragoons in P6, followed by Sandeep Singh and Vincent Gutt in this 5-car train. Again, keep your eye out for Luke Mitchell when they all come into the pit lane. He's trying to undercut this group here. This could be very, very interesting in this colossal battle for the back end of the top 10. 5 drivers nailed together, nothing to separate them as they fly around the Marina Bay here in virtual Singapore. As there's Maggio, the pole sitter, the race leader comes in, as does Alex Laho from P3 as well. Let's stay on board with the Valley Esports driver, looking to pick up his first race win this season. Set of mediums for the Magic Man.
Oh,
Alex Laho looks like he's going the same. Yeah, Bianchalilas kept going up the front as well, so clearly a split strategy there. Or somewhat split anyway, from Valley Esports. Yeah. So they're clearly cooking something up. Sandeep Singh does pit, so Road to Formula not splitting there. And Vincent Gutter to stand on the brakes as Sandeep Singh was coming out of the pit lane there. That's not enough for a penalty. There's Luke Mitchell. Will he make it out in front of this big group? Unfortunately, not quite. He is right on the tail of them.
He can attack now because they will get held right now by Remco. So he can definitely attack right now. And this is key moment for them. If you're Luke Mitchell, just send it. I mean, he's a bit far, but just send it. Nah, it's impossible. I wanted to mention as well, this is a big mistake by Spark, because they should have pitted 1 lap earlier, because they were the only team in that group that they had 2 cars. So obviously, if they pitted together, they would have double stacked. So I think one of them, either way, Pavel or Vincent, should have pitted 1 lap earlier, just to precisely cover this possibility from Luke Mitchell. And now Pavel is a bit in danger of this undercut. The good thing is that they are being held by Remco right now, so he still stands a chance to actually keep this position right now, as we see a yellow in sector 1. And Manuel is actually not pitting right now, which is interesting. I think Fidok is pitting and Pavel is pitting, so Fidok definitely going for a 2-stopper, I would say, and Pavel and Fidok, both of them. But Biancolini not pitting, he might try to challenge maybe Maggio for the race win, because what is the reasoning otherwise to wait for more laps to pit? As we see,
maybe the engineers know something we don't. Getting very tight there on the exit. Sorry to cut across you, Carlos, but Andrzejewski and Sandeep Singh side by side into turn number 4. Sandeep Singh ultimately comes out on top. Andrzejewski is the big loser out of the pit stop battle there. He's lost a whole host of positions, is up in front. David Fidok's trying to get through the Dutchman.
He lost it.
It didn't quite work. Yeah, no, it didn't. Yeah, he lost the place. What's going on, David Fidok? Well, that's suddenly struggling, it would appear, as the True North driver. Very, very bizarre. Gives Remco de Gio a bit of breathing room as well. Yeah, David Fidok, you don't expect that from David Fidok. He's normally such a solid driver, rarely makes mistakes, rarely gets overtaken. And, well, he's down in P6 at the moment.
Wow. Well, actually, Remco is racing pretty fast, to be honest. His last lap was 35.0, so maybe these drivers are struggling to actually match him. Wow, this is crazy because he overtook him and he actually pulled a bit of a gap. So definitely they are saving really well the tires, as we see Dragoon also pitting, Manuel pitting as well. So this is definitely very interesting because maybe they cannot overtake yet Remco, and Remco is definitely yet to pit, and if he keeps this at this rate, he will definitely go for a one-stop.
Well, we'll wait and see what Remco's plan is, but Fusion Racing engineers clearly know something that we don't in the commentary box. Remco de Jeu doing a fantastic job, currently running in P4 out there, yet to make his first pit stop up in front. Well, Maggio, Biancalilla and Laho almost a pit stop ahead of everybody else. So far up the road are they. That pace from the Valley Esports cars and one of the Road to Formulas is just absolutely obscene at the moment. Maggio, though, he's got 2.6 seconds to the good, just again briefly focusing on the leaders. So he is in control of this one. Just how Remco de Jeu is in control of this battle for what is now 4th place, doing a fantastic job. David Fidok trying to close back in. Will the Spark Racing guys fancy swapping places? Again, you'd think with Pavel Andrzejewski jumping in as reserve driver this evening, following a Jack Mayer's little break towards the end of the season, you'd think maybe there'd be team orders to not fight, but at the same time, you never know. With Andrzejewski is in head as well, he's clearly gonna try and hold on to that position. Lap 19 of 51 here in Singapore, as Fidok trying to line up a move once again on Remco de Jeu, who this pace is remarkable from Remco de Jeu. I mean, just looking at his lap times, it's phenomenal. He's held on to those tyres.
No, he's on new tires. I just noticed.
No, he's on new tyres.
He's on new tires.
Right, so he's on an alternate strategy. So he's boxed and gone onto the softs on an alternate strategy. Now that does change things. Okay, David Fidok's on the mediums meanwhile, so that's why he's got a lot of pace and David Fidok potentially doesn't. Okay, that clarifies things. We were going to say, apparently we just completely lost track of where Remco de Jeu was out on the racetrack. Here comes Fidok to the inside. No! They touch! They touch! Round goes Remco de Jeu. He gets hit on the rear. The rear wing is still on the car. He'll be able to make it back to the pit lane. But the lightest of kisses from David Fidok sends the Dutchman into a spin and sends him tumbling down the order on lap 19 of 51. And what a shame that is. What a shame for Remco de Jeu. Of course, that cost David Fidok as well. He's down in P7 now.
Must be said, it caught us so off guard, the strategy from Remco, but it is some masterpiece, because he was able to just have a clear track with the soft tires, pull his own pace and overtake all these cars. As we see clearly, I think Fidok just misjudged the braking zone when you are behind a car. I want to see if there was a further contact between Vincent Gott and maybe Fidok, because I saw they were side by side as well into the upcoming corners. But yeah, it was a great masterpiece, and maybe Luke, when he pitted in lap 14-15, maybe he should have gone for the soft tire as well. As we see here, if there was a contact or just maybe a clean move from Vincent, he now will have the inside for the next corner. And yeah, it was completely clean, and that's great for the Spark drivers right now. They are just ahead of Fidok, and probably the damage of these cars are pretty noticeable. So probably he will start to struggle a bit, but I would say I'm very sad for Remco, but huge props to them because the strategy was definitely going to work. And I was about to mention as well, Fidok just needed to be calm to overtake, because you just overtake him and take advantage of the others struggling to overtake, and you are able to open a gap. So he didn't really need to rush any overtake. but sometimes things come this way when you are behind in the slipstream. When the brakes are fading a bit more, they get really hot. It is a track where brake cooling is really difficult. So yeah, these things can actually happen, and is sadly part of the racing we love.
She's a beauty. She is a brutal, brutal mistress, motorsport. The racing gods giveth and the racing gods taketh away. It's it's a harsh sport, unfortunately, and that's what we've seen today. And as we race on despite the sadness of seeing Remco de Jeu getting sent around like that. Just David Vidoc, it wasn't a big mistake either. Just missed the braking zone by not even a meter, probably. And just the lightest of touches to the rear. And that's it, game over. Round goes de Jeu. He's back behind Alexander Ragota. Car clearly was all right to continue, because I don't think he's pitted since. But still a massive shame. On the plus side, though, 2 free places for Spark Racing. Sandeep Singh's up into 4th, so slightly betters his chances of getting the championship to go to the next round at least. But as it stands, it won't be. He's got to make his way up into 1st and hope Alex Laho is 5th or lower. Again, the odds very much stacked in the Frenchman's favour in the title race. There is Remco de Jeu. Let's see if the car looks straight. It looks okay. Coming down that little straight there. Doesn't look too bent out of shape. There was a pretty sizable whack to the left rear of the car when he was facing the wrong direction. Let's just have a look and see if the steering wheel's straight as we come onto
it's understeering massively. It's understeering. Probably the floor is damaged. This floor damage can make you lose about 20 or 30 points of downforce, which is more or less the 10%. 30 points is about the 10% of the downforce you have on this car, which is massive. And then you progressively slow down even more and even more. The tires give up also faster because of less grip and everything. You still try to compensate this by driving. Must be said, he's still in a point position scoring, and he has to keep going and maybe evaluate when you pit if you want to repair the damage or not. But repairing the damage is about 15 seconds, and I think stopping for 15 seconds is it will hurt you more than what you will when definitely when you see those things. It's really clear when the downforce is lacking. To be mentioned, Alex Lehoux 8 seconds behind Manuel Banquililla. That is a statement from Ballet. That is a statement.
It is indeed. It is very much a statement, and then some. We're not going to get a whole Formula One posting cold photos of Lando Norris because he won a race by a sizable distance on you. But that's very much a statement from Ballet Esports. They're saying we now have the fastest car. And there is the men of the moment, Alessandro Maggio and Manuel Biancalilla. 1-2 on lap 22, heading on to 23. And they are doing a superb job as it stands, sliding their way through the Singapore night. The yellow glittering under the streetlights. And they look so comfortable. The cars just look on rails. I was a little bit worried at the end of qualifying. Both Maggio and Biancalilla almost had huge crashes coming through the final corner. The rear of the car looks so unstable. But right now, they look absolutely superb. And they look like, well, as Maggio brushes the wall a little bit there, actually. Hopefully that's no damage. They just look brilliant out on the racetrack. And Alex Laho, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he'll still be happy with the podium. And if they finish as they're running now, he is the champion in 2024. So I'm sure that'll be, something worth celebrating. But I think he's just a bit. I think he almost doesn't have an answer. I'm sure that Road to Formula probably just sat there going, where is this pace come from? Because Valley Esports, they've been threatening the dominance of Road to Formula, especially at the last few rounds. They've turned up here today and they've got the fastest race car. And to overcome, especially the advantage that Road to Formula had at the start of the season is a huge task. It's just, they've done an incredible job.
It just shows that hard work pays off. and you never can surrender the season at any point. And definitely this gets their hopes really good and high for the upcoming season. Vale was one of the most promising teams coming to this season. I think when we saw the lineups, we could agree that Road to Formula, Spark and Vale were the strongest on paper. And this is kind of what we were expecting from them. I mean, they are P3 in the championship, but they are right now 271 points behind Road to Formula. And I think that's something that nobody actually expected. And right now, this kind of racing and this kind of pace they have, it's absolutely worth mentioning. Right now, they are smashing. Biancolilla is doing 34.2, whereas Maggio is doing 34.4. Slightly better, but it's kind of normal with the slighter advantage they have. And I think maybe Alex did something wrong, because he's right now racing 7/10 slower than them, and he's actually racing 3/10 slower than Sandeep. So maybe he has had a bit of a moment with the wall. He had a meeting with his best friend Le Wall, but we don't know. Although must be mentioned, Sandeep is pretty far away with almost 12 second gap, and this position is perfectly valid for what you were mentioning, the winning the championship. Maybe he wants to just give it a spin and make it more emotional for the next 2 rounds, but I don't think he will try to secure it. It is a shame we don't see like visual lateral damage or something else, because it would be very interesting for this. As we see Michal Galka going to try to do the move on Tom van der Voort. He takes the inside heading into sector 3, and he will try to make it stick, and there he goes. He is using currently the C5 compound to make the move. We have seen a lot of difference between compounds today, especially at the early stages of the race. We saw a lot of drivers with the soft tire overtaking the medium runners, and so maybe it's kind of the way to go today for racing, and maybe they go a bit longer right now and try to wait for the soft compound. Although it's risky because you're conceding the race position.
Well, it's very, very interesting watching the battles happen all throughout the field. Can Galka continue the charge, or can Van der Voort try and sneak through for P13? Oh, Van der Voort getting all sorts of sideways as the yellow flag briefly flashes in Sector 1. Just going back to the Laho thingy for a moment, he could also be saving tyres, Carlos. That could be something we have to think of. It could very much be a, just take this as easy as possible. I'm running on my own here. Let's try take this stint longer than planned. Maybe throw 5 or so laps on the end of it and see what we can do with it. So that also doesn't sound a lot like Alex Laho, does it? So maybe he does have problems, or maybe he just doesn't have the pace right now. Maybe he can't get those mediums working up to temperature how we would like it.
Lewis Mitchell is pitting. This is completely out of order. He shouldn't be pitting right now. He goes for the soft compound. I don't think he will make it till the end. So is he trying to just like, okay, I'm behind this group, I'm gonna win nothing by just doing the same as them, and let's try to shake it up even with a non-conventional strategy, because he did only 12 laps with the mediums. He did a shorter stint with the mediums compared now going to the soft, and I would say he will definitely go to 12 and 12. But it's weird, right? Because otherwise he would have done less laps in the first stint. I wonder if there was a contact with the wall and then the car was slightly damaged. As we see Biancolilla also really close to Maggio. Maybe he's starting to struggle right now, Maggio. And this is important for the race outcome. I'm not entirely sure if Vale will actually give team orders and just stay 1-2 and just please secure the positions, or they just leave them free to race as long as it's safe between the one and the other one.
Yeah, the lead is getting very, very close. No wonder if the instruction of no fighting, please, boys, has been lifted. And I wonder if they've been told race on, because suddenly Biancialilla is looking very, very feisty indeed. Hunting down the back of his teammate, the Magic Man, the pole sitter for this race. Maybe we've got a bit of a fight on our hands. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to unfold. Right now, Maggio still holds on to the lead, with Biancialilla in P2. Laho now nearly 13 seconds back in P3. Valle have disappeared off into the distance, and they're making this race their own. The real question is, what order are they going to finish in? Luke Mitchell was in P12. We saw him briefly come into the pit lane there. According to my live timing, he's gone back onto a set of the softs. He actually did a longer first stint on the softs than he did his last stint on the mediums, Carlos. So I think you may be right there. I think it may just be he was at the back of the pack and wanted to try something different, which is fair enough, whatever you want to do, I guess, but an interesting move nonetheless, as he's now trying to force his way through Matthias Pizcan. And, well, you can see Mitchell looking very racy on those fresh softs. Of course, the C5 compound is the softs this weekend, the softest compound of tyres available in GPVWC Superlights, and that's a lovely little move around the outside on the brakes. Well in Luke Mitchell, up into P11 he goes, but again, got to remember, on the soft tyres, fresh soft tyres it must be said, it's not entirely surprising, is it? Fastest lap of the race so far belongs to Manuel Biancialilla. It's actually a new lap record round here in Superlights for GPVWC. That was previously a 134.634 set by Sandeep Singh last year. Manuel Biancialilla, and actually, as I say that, Alex Laho's actually gone faster on another lap, and I'm just blind. Alex Laho said a 134.181, so a little bit faster this year. And of course, going to be a different winner this year as well. Every winner at this track in Superlights history has been a different winner. We had Martin Gosby in 2019, Michael Francesconi in P2020, Michael Ayres in 2021, Simon Frelick in 2022, and Fabrizio Gobi in 2023. Will it be Maggio? Will it be Biancialilla? Will it be Laho? Or will it be someone else in 2024? Hey, maybe Maxime Bulio. Maybe today's the day. You never know. It could all kick off and suddenly Maxime could find 3 seconds a lap on everybody else. You never know what could happen. But as we are now into the second half of this race, lap 29 of 51, it is still Carlos Martin, Valle Esports dominating. We both predicted coming into this one, we both thought that Maggio was going to win this race. But I don't think by lap 29 we're expecting them to be this far ahead of everybody else.
No, definitely not. Because between Alex and Maggio and Manuel, it was like clean racing. There was nothing happening really between them. There was no traffic, nothing intervening between them. And everything it opened up, I would say, with the medium stint. I think with the soft, yeah, Alex was 3.8, 3.5 seconds behind them, which is still fine. But then he lost 10 seconds in this stint only in 14 laps. So he's definitely not feeling very comfortable right now. And this is being proven today. I'm really curious about Luke Mitchell, because Jan Dragon also lost a lot of time in this battling, because they were all together, Pavel, Vincent, Sandeep, Jan and Luke Mitchell, and Jan Dragon lost a lot of time to Fidok. So this 14-second gap, he will need to recover all this in just 6-7 laps, where they will start pitting for another set of soft, presumably, because you could already more or less pit from this lap and make it to the end with the mediums if you wanted. But with the softs, you just wait 5 more laps and then you are fine to pit again and do a last stint on soft. So that's why I'm fairly confused with Luke Mitchell. And with Jan, I saw his pace. He's racing in 35.3, 35.4 right now, which is not ideal. Whereas the leaders are racing in 34.5 and 34.3, so basically almost 1 second off compared to the leaders. And Alex Lehoux is 35.3, Sandeep Singh is 35.2. So clearly there is like different levels of pace right now. But Luke Mitchell right now, fastest lap of the race, 33.87. And definitely this lap will be beaten later. They will set new soft tires, and they will use all the push to pass available to actually try to do a good lap time. Maybe we can see a 31 from Vale. I don't think it's too crazy if we see a 31 from Vale as a fastest lap.
I mean, I'd certainly like to see it. It'd be an impressive feat, it must be said. We'll have to wait and see, though. Lap 30 of 51. Maggio leads from Brian Chalila. Alex Lehoux in P3. We've lost 3 drivers in this race, unfortunately. Florian Guy, we lost very early on, alongside Dominic Koroshavin and Davide Zanini also out of the race. A real shame there for them. But, well, currently your prediction of, was it 14 cars you said we're going to be going by the end? I think it was 14, Carlos. Yeah, that's not going too well right now. Not a spicy race for a change. But to be fair, as always in GPVWC Superlights, it's been pretty clean this evening. It's been, honestly, it's been one of the cleanest seasons of sim racing I think I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes, to be fair. So no complaints about that. Nothing wrong with a bit of good, clean racing as Vincent gets it a little bit sideways, coming through turn 3. Has to put just a dab of opposite lock on. Not drowning in it, but... Oh, yeah, Vidok in. Very good spot, Carlos. That's in for a set of mediums according to the screen. Luke Mitchell is going to get through, but he's on the softs. He's going to have to box again. So David Vidok comes into the pits. He's gone onto a set of the mediums again. So that should take him to the end of the race. Of course.
Is this the right call?
Yeah, I think it's the right call. I'm assuming it's the right call. I mean, 20 laps on the mediums at the end of the race with, you know, the track rubbered in and all that. I'd like to think he'd be able to make it.
Yeah, but they did 15 laps with the soft before, and if you just wait 4 laps, you will be able to set the soft tires anyway. I'm not entirely sure what is the best thing. I think he maybe valued a bit more trying to undercut Vincent, Pavel, and Sandeep, but I think he's pretty far for an actually attack, and whenever he gets ahead, he will not have a gap of clearance to actually try to mitigate this difference of pace between the soft and the medium at the beginning of the pace. So I'm not entirely sure if it's the way to go. It looks more like Road to Formula, Vale and Spark, which are coping the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. I think they will go for a soft, medium, soft until the end. And it really looks like it by just the lengths of the stint they did. But okay, never mind. And Pavel goes for... Actually, he goes for soft. He goes for soft just 1 lap later. Well, this is a long way to go with a soft, I would say. 19 laps. It is a pretty long way to go, as we see Luke Mitchell going through right now through Pavel. So Pavel will need to clear Luke. I think Luke will pit in 6 laps, maybe. Yeah, more or less, I would say. 6 laps. So he does like a 12 lap stint at the end of the race. And you are fully ahead of definitely Vidok. And he's throwing an attack to Sandeep right now. And to Vincent, because Vincent, let's remember, he was behind Vincent. Vincent is 2.3 seconds behind Sandeep. So Sandeep has this lap to react to Pavel's attack. Maybe he decides to just, okay, I will copy that, or I will just stay on track. I will ignore it. Pavel was struggling a lot in the first stint with the soft tires, so maybe I don't need to worry too much about it, and maybe just Spark is trying to maybe get this position from Sandeep, and they are doing something different. But Sandeep doesn't react to it. I think it goes really according to how he is as a person, to his personality. And I think Vincent is actually pitting. Yeah, he is pitting within 18 laps to go, which I think it's a quite long way for the soft run, but it's still feasible for these drivers. and he's also at the same way just protecting from Fidok, and you just have everything covered and nothing will just happen until the end in this regard in terms of overtaking. And yeah, Pavel just goes through the undercut is just massive with these soft tires. So yeah, shall we see how this unfolds for Sandeep Singh, which eventually this lap you react or you just stay on track and you pull the overtake. It just depends on him.
Absolutely, it does. If you're just joining us, you have missed some interesting action this evening here at the 14th round of the 2024 GPVWC Superlights season here under the night lights at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore. And it's all been about Valet Esports, as that looks like Alessandro Maggio's boxing, and Alessandro Maggio is boxing from the lead of the race on lap number 34. What tyres does the pole sitter go on to? Looks like another set of the mediums. We know R-Factor sometimes takes a moment to update the tyre choice on screen, but it does look like another set of the mediums on the live timing as well. Comes out behind Alex Laho, who is yet to box, and gives Biancalilla clear air up the front. So this is the point really where the race is going to get decided. But behind Alex Laho, he's still a few seconds behind him, to be fair. Bit of lap traffic to negotiate with as well. Was that maybe, Carlos, a bit too early for Maggio to pit, do you reckon? Or, you know, I guess they're just sticking to their game plan.
It's weird, I would say, because he did 16 laps in the first 10 with softs, and now he sets the medium tire. Maybe it's just the game needs to update itself, and there is still quite some gap with Alex. There is 4.8 seconds of gap, and maybe he knows Biancalilla will just pit and set another medium tires and it will be fine completely, as we see Matheus Pichen also going for the medium. So it looks like only Spark went for this soft, medium, soft. As we see, he's just right in front of Maxime Bulio. Maybe Maxime now will try to an attack now, just trying to take advantage of these cold medium tires we've seen that are not the best when you came out of the pit when you come out of the pit lane. Maybe Maxime will try to go for an attack with push to pass. He tries to sneak the front wing on the outside. He will actually try, they make contact and he gets pushed off the track, but I think it was a bit more on Maxime's end maybe there, because because I think he just steered a bit in. So we see Alex Lehoux, well, going for the medium tires. So maybe Road to Formula is just choosing to go for the medium tires for the end of the race. Maybe the French driver feels a bit better with the medium tires, as he is coming out of the pit lane just right behind Jan Dragun. He maybe stays this lap behind him, but I don't think it's too relevant for him till the end of the race. Maggio is actually in danger to actually being overcutted by Biancalilla. He's 21.1 seconds right now. He's going slightly faster, but just a tiny bit mistake and you are just getting overcutted by Manuel right now. And if Manuel decides, oh well, I think he's just pumping the push to pass right now by just how the gap is shrinking right now. But if Manuel actually decides to go for the soft run, it can be actually interesting till the end of the race.
Yeah, it can be. To put it politely, I'd be amazed if Biancalilla was able to overcut Maggio. What a story that would be to the end of the race, and what an unhappy Magic Man, I am sure. Alex Laho, again, is well on his way to picking up the championship this evening. Again, Sandeep Singh, as Maggio sets fastest lap of the race at 33.169. Ridiculous pace from him as Singh pits and gets a bit sideways coming into the pit lane. Again, Sandeep Singh needs to win and have Laho finish 5th or below for this to go to the next race. And then as well, as it stands, Sandeep Singh also isn't going to be doing the next race either, so yeah.
Maybe he's trolling. I know him a bit, maybe he's trolling. But he goes for the soft compound, so there is a bit of mixed feelings between the tires in Road to Formula, and that might explain why the pace gap between Bale and Road to Formula. Maybe Bale is just understanding everything overall better. Sandeep Singh lost both positions to Spark, so he will need to overtake both cars on track. Of course, his tires are 3 and 4 laps fresher compared to the Spark boys, but for sure they will work together to try to keep Sandeep behind. He needs to win 1.5 seconds to Vincent and then 5 seconds to Pavel in 15 laps. That's not an easy thing to do, I would say. It is feasible for sure, but maybe unnecessary risk by Sandeep Singh.
Potentially. I mean, there's still time left in this race, so it's not all doom and gloom just yet. We'll have to wait and see how it's going to get going in just a few laps' time. Laps 37 of 51. Bianchelilla comes out of the pit lane behind Alessandro Maggio. Looks like a set of the medium tyres to my eyes. And I think it is so. And, oh no! Okay, is that definitely soft? Let's just confirm that. Oh, it is! Oh! Oh,
Well,
that changes a lot of things.
we have
Maggio,
a race.
we have a race in our hands. Maggio going on to the mediums may be a massive blunder. Because there's, what, 13, 14 laps left, and everybody around him is on softs, and we know that those soft tyres can go the distance. Suddenly, Maggio's probably feeling a little bit nervous. As then we see Pavel Andrzejewski looking for a move on Luke Mitchell, can't get through.
This move is important for Pavel because you want to clear Luke as fast as you can. Luke is probably pitting in 1 or 2 laps, but you don't want to wait. You want to keep this gap big and open for big and no chance for Sandeep to actually make a move. Sandeep is already in the diffuser of Vincent Gatt, and he knows he's fighting for this net P4 right now. And Luke Mitchell is maybe fighting for a P7, P8 right now with this maybe 3 stopper. I don't think he will be able to go till the end, question mark. I mean, if he goes until the end, he deserves this P4, I would say. There's no question about that. But I think given how the strategies have been going so far, and some drivers selecting the medium tire when they do about 20 or 19 laps, definitely is this something to consider. So probably we're seeing a pit soon from Luke Mitchell, and Pavel just needs to pull the move to put. Sandeep already overtook Vincent. Probably he did at the end of Sector 2 or at the beginning of Sector 3. So he's going on the hunt on Pavel. He really wants to take this P4 to try to make it as difficult and maybe sweat a bit of for Alex. But Pavel just needs to pull the move, and we can see Luke is just using the push to pass in the straights where are quite long, just to keep Pavel behind. Maybe what Pavel can do is something different, to use the push to pass in non-orthodox zones, so maybe you can surprise Luke right now. But he's losing everything right now. The gap between Pavel and Sandeep right now is 2.5 seconds. 2 laps ago it was 5 seconds. So definitely you are kinda losing the opportunities to keep this P4 to Sandeep in this very moment from the race. Also important, don't lose your mind. Don't try to do a dive where you can damage your car, because it will eventually be worse. I think still a P5 for your. As he goes for the move here in the inside at the beginning of Sector 3, I think just look, it will pit right now. I can see it as a. Yeah, there he goes. It just made sense for him to just pit right now. It's just even the race length remaining you had since you pit for these soft compounds. But yeah, right now it will be a difficult task for Pavel to keep this 4th position. Sandeep is just 1.8 seconds behind. As we see the Manuel Ben Colilla just right behind Alessandro Maggio. Now Alessandro has to... Ooh, no, he's sped in the pit lane. Luke Mitchell sped in the pit lane. Oh no, oh wow, he's really close. He will have a chance now. Manuel Biancolilla will have a chance to do a move on Alessandro Maggio. He goes for the outside, he tries to move the move stick. He doesn't. He will have now another chance heading into the next corner. He will have the inside right now. They're both using push to pass. They both use everything they've got. He's got the inside. He will try to make it stick. And right now he leaves the enough gap and he makes it stick. Manuel Biancolilla leads the race with just 10 laps remaining until the end of the race.
It is heartbreak for Luke Mitchell, heartbreak for Alessandro Maggio. Manuel Bianchilla, who jumped into this race in the last seconds as a last-minute replacement, is brilliant. It's brilliant, brilliant stuff. Just unreal, unreal. Manuel Bianchilla leads this race here in Singapore, lap 40 of 51. But he's on the soft tyres. Will they last? They should last, but will they have the pace long enough at the end of the race? We'll have to wait and find out. Maggio still within DRS range as it stands. But Bianchilla looking to rain on his teammates' parade. Goodness gracious me, if you told me this is what we were going to get in before we started this broadcast, I'd have slapped you across the face. I thought you would have been telling me porkies. Someone ring up Hollywood. You can't script this. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Meanwhile, further back, Vincent Gutt is continuing to fight with Sandeep Singh further down the pack. It's a Road to Formula and then Spark 4-5 and, or 3-4 and 5-6, should I say. David Fiddick just behind them. Luke Mitchell, of course, he's currently P9. He will have to take that penalty, or he will have time added on at the end of the race. So he can choose what he wants to do there. I'm presuming he'll just take
he
the
will
time.
get disqualified if he doesn't.
Oh no, he will. Yeah, of course. Sorry, that's on me. I completely forgot how R-Factor 2 works. He does have to take the penalty, or he'll get disqualified. So that's annoying for Luke Mitchell. There was a very brief yellow flag there in Sector 2, but it's gone away pretty quickly. Still only 3 retirements so far in Florian Guy, Dominic Koroshavin and Davide Zanini. Can Vincent Gutt try and muscle his way through Sandeep Singh, who's in a bit of a Spark Racing sandwich right now? He's got Andrzejewski in front of him and Vincent Gutt behind him. Andrzejewski, another driver who's come in just for this one round as a reserve driver and has come in and is putting on a display, currently running P4. Oh no, not quite the same as Bianchilla's first place. An impressive performance nonetheless from the Spark Racing reserve. And it says an ooh there from Carlos Martin. Is that just
Vincent will have the chance. Vincent will have the chance to overtake Sandeep right now, and he doesn't go for it. He doesn't go for it. I think Vincent is happy with just the current positions, but Sandeep had a big moment there. But yeah, sorry to interrupt, Ross.
No, absolutely no issues at all. I thought I'd missed something there as Vincent Gutt tried to move down the inside. Unfortunately, didn't come into fruition on that occasion. As they slide their way through the middle part of the track, finding their way, tiptoeing round the tarmac here in Singapore. But right now, he's just unable to do anything as Vincent Gutt, unable to quite find that gap with 10 laps remaining. Bianchilla is 2 seconds to the good now, ahead of Alessandro Maggio, who himself is some 20 seconds ahead of Road to Formula. That is the real story, of course, in this race. As we were saying earlier, it's not so much about the fight between Maggio and Bianchilla, as exciting as that is. It's just how dominant the Valley Esports car has been this evening. They have been the team to beat. And they've been up and coming, and again, as I was saying earlier, Carlos, you know, the last couple of rounds, especially in Monza, they look really, really good. Here today, Valley Esports are, without a shadow of a doubt, the fastest team.
Well, that's without a doubt. I mean, when the next car is just 20 seconds behind, I think it's very clear. It will be interesting to see what was the furthest gap between teams this season. In any race we have done so far. Maybe it was Australia because it was a really messy and rainy race. But I don't think we have seen between two teams 20 seconds between the leader and the very next team at any point of the season. So it just shows up the great effort and the great value the Ballet guys are doing right now. And maybe Macho can have a chance at the very end of the race, but I'm not really optimistic for him right now. I think Pavel also is starting to struggle. The decision of pitting within 19-20 laps to go, I think it was also very optimistic. It was, I think, a bit out of window, but he will try to hold the position. Well, not anymore, because he doesn't defend the inside and he lets through. So, oh, he goes deep, and he will just say, thank you, I will try to take this right now. And now Vincent will try to make the move, stick on Sandeep Singh, maybe try to give it a fair shot into turn 1. I think both teams want to finish the race, but if they can fish an extra position, they will definitely take it. They head into turn 3, a lot of curb. Heading into turn 3, a lot of anti-cut as well. Now into turn 5, taking as much track as they can. Vincent missing a bit the apex there, and now Sandeep very close to, maybe he does a run on Pavel. I think it's a bit behind to actually make a move. It is really curious that maybe Pavel is starting to run out of push to pass right now, and maybe he needs to manage the remaining seconds he has. That's why maybe he didn't defend in sector 3, as we see Jan Dragon overtaking Fidok. Jan Dragoon is ahead of David Fidok.
Yeah, what's going there? David Fidok losing out to Jan Dragoon. As yeah, I think Fidok may have just made a small error somewhere. Let's have a look at the replay as we jump from one very exciting battle to another. Has David Fidok made another mistake, or was it a good move? Let's have a look to the inside. Ooh. And
it was a good
great move. Great move by Jan Dragoon. Just held his line perfectly, shoved Fidok out wide, but not too aggressively. Gave him plenty of space. And Fidok falls behind as we go back to this massive battle between Andrzejewski, Singh and Gut, who are, well, I'm going to be frank, I've got no idea how all three of these cars are still out on the racetrack after that kerfuffle at the end of the last lap. But they're still going strong right now in this fight for 4th place. Alex Laho is 15 seconds up the road. They're never going to catch him, so this is just about fighting for the glory that you can get your hands on. Sandeep Singh, I think at this point, knows realistically the championship is gone, but he's still going to put on a good show. He's still going to put up some fight, especially in this Spark Sandwich, to try and get the maximum number of points he can for the team. Even though they're already team's champion, you know, you want to continue to pick up those big points to make a statement, especially with Road to Formula heading up to Super League next year. So it should be very interesting to see how it all unfolds. Sandeep pushing his way through the left-hander there, and then onto this not quite a back straight. And then now a very tricky part of the racetrack. That's where the Singapore Sling used to be, if my memory serves, as they wind their way through. And then down into this horrendous section there. It's really awkward through there. Very easy to lose the car under braking as well, because you come in turning and all the weight, all the mass of the car is down at the front. There's no grip on the rear whatsoever. Singapore in general, a very tricky track. As Singh looks to the inside, that's a very late move from Sandeep Singh. Doesn't pay off, but he's tried to launch it once again. Andrzejewski holds on as they go around the final corner to start their 45th lap. And somehow, Pavel Andrzejewski is still in P4. But Vincent Gutt could be trying to move up into P5. He gets a good enough look down into turn number 1. Won't be on that occasion. They've all of them just haven't quite been able, Carlos, to make that launch, make that move stick.
Can I say something from internally from Spark? Because I test with Vincent and he's very aggressive in testing, and he's not aggressive today, so I'm not very happy with him. As we see a move now from Sandeep Singh on the inside, and now he makes it stick. I think Pavel is just run out of push to pass right now, and he's not able to defend anymore this tire gap that there is between Sandeep Singh and Vincent got. But yeah, I'm saddened that Vincent doesn't give this aggressiveness that he shows in practice. He doesn't bring it into the race. Come on, Vincent, just be aggressive. Go for it. Dive, dive, dive.
Go on, go on. Give it something. Try anything. We'll have to wait and see, but it is Sandeep Singh up into 4th place. Makes it a road to Formula 3-4. Pavel Andrzejewski trying desperately to stay onto the back of him, but I think now that Singh's got a bit of fresh air up in front of him, that could be game over for this battle, unfortunately. Top 6 all in team order. That makes my, makes me, just the patterns match up. It's very nice as they come through the final few corners. And, getting to that point where the car's starting just to get on the edge a little bit. The fuel's running out. The weight of the car's the lowest it's been. Tyres at this point will start to go as well at the end of the last stint. So you'll be just struggling a little bit for traction and grip, especially through the fast corners. You'll feel the car moving around quite a lot. But no issues for those guys. Up the front, once again, Carlos, Maggio made the mistake of going onto the mediums. He's now 4.5 seconds behind Biancalilla. He had this race in the palm of his hand. Unfortunately, Alessandro Maggio, it's not gone his way again today.
Well, I mean, I think he will be very happy considering how the past races how he was at Monza. He was very happy, even though he lost the race by less than a second gap to Alex. I think today he will be happy because he's a team guy, he's a Vale guy, and of course he will prefer to actually win the race, but he will be happy to batter Road to Formula by 26 seconds, which is more than half a second a lap at this point of the race. And then the other Road to Formula, it's even further, 41 seconds off. I think he can see the positives into it, and he just needs to replicate what he did here. And it definitely, he's a good shot to give for Super League if he has remaining reserves. Definitely he has the pace, he has the what he needs to apply it here. So definitely, if any Super League team needs a reserve for this race, Maggio and Manuel are definitely the guys to look into it.
Absolutely, they are. Lap 47 of 51, Pavel and Vincent continuing to try and trade blows, but that means they're just going to lose track of Sandeep Singh up in front even more. So it's going to be interesting if they're able to get over their differences and push forward and carry on going, trying to chase down the Road to Formula team boss in the final few laps, the dying moments of this race. Again, pending a disaster, we will be coronating Alex Laho in a few short minutes as the 2024 champion. It's not been his finest effort today. He's not set the world ablaze. He's not shown everyone what he can really do. But it's been enough. It has been more than enough, in fact. And he's still operating at a ridiculously high level. We'll have to wait and see if he can make the end. I'm sure he will. That'll be typical Alex Laho if he bottles it now. But, you know, I'm sure that he'll be absolutely fine coming through. Lap 48 of 51 now, as these guys go on to lap 48, crossing the line. I mean, last few laps, Carlos, who would you say your driver of the day has been?
Manuel, I would say, definitely. I mean, if you win the race, as we see, Sikora 31.9. I mean, I predicted Vale to do it, but I mean, if Sikora does a 31, I'll take it. No, yeah. Oh, as we see Vincent going for the move on Pavel right now. As he takes P5, I think Pavel just made it easy for Vincent. I mean, it makes sense. Pavel doesn't take place in this championship, but going for the driver of the day, I think 6 seconds in the lead. Manuel has to be. He overtook on track Alessandro. Is there anything else to say? Maybe you can take like secondary drivers of the day. Pavel deserves a lot of recognition, jumping almost late notice to drive the SL2 car, and he's been on the rise in the GPVWC ladder, doing a great job in FS1, finishing P2 in race 1, and he's lately been very, very, very strong in FS1. So it's also a driver to consider for the next year if you want to contest these really high places in Superlights. I think this is one of the guys you want to take with the proper testing and with the as we see Luke Mitchell trying to pressure Mateusz Pishan after this pit lane penalty he had. He probably lost about 15 seconds with this drive-through penalty. Well, I'm not sure if it was a drive-through or a stop and go. We will need to check on that because he lost a lot of time. The normal thing is that he would have finished P9, P8 without the penalty. But yeah, he's fighting for this P10. So yeah, I would say Manuel, and then probably as a secondary driver of the day, maybe Pavel.
I mean, that's a very good shout. I mean, I think you could really give it to either of the Vale guys, be it Maggio or Biancialilla. I think they've both been fantastic. I think Luke Mitchell, as does they both have as Luke Mitchell actually Tilly inside. Gives it a go, gets it done. Lovely stuff there by Luke Mitchell, but will he face the counter-attack? He does a little bit, absorbs the pressure very, very nicely. Nicely done, sir. Yeah, Luke Mitchell especially, he deserves a big shout as well. I feel like Remco does you. Again, the result won't speak for much, but I think the performance has been very, very strong. I think, yeah, there's a few drivers in there I think have had great runs today. But, you know, realistically, it's got to be one of the Vale Esports guys. Whether it's Biancialilla for the consistent pace or Maggio for being so strong in the first 2/3 of the race and the first two stints. It's anyone's guess, really. I mean, it's all subjective, isn't it? Opinions and all that. But, yeah, for me, it's one of those two.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I completely forgot about Remco. Remco did an amazing performance. As we see another yellow flag in sector 1. Yeah, I'm saddened for Remco. These at the end are things that are part of racing. But yeah, at the end he will still score some points. He will still score 2 points for Fusion Racing, which are important for the economy of next year. They cannot forget for next year's cars. Now many teams will stop developing because they need to save RD points for next season. So we see Manuel Biancialilla heading into the last lap of the race. I'm sure he's just letting him go to just make sure there is no crazy shenanigans, although he's lost kinda 3 seconds to Alessandro in the last laps. I think he's just chilling and just cruising through the track to just make sure he sees the checkered flag. We will see a reserve driver winning today if nothing weird happens in the next upcoming meters. He's slowing down. Wait, is he gonna let him go? Because he's slowing down a lot.
Maybe he is. Maybe we've got some team orders coming in. More drama perhaps at the end of this race. I mean, of course, Maggio is the full-time driver.
It's agreed, but it's not team orders. I think he just lets him go out of being a gentleman, and it makes sense. And Alessandro actually, pulled a big effort. I think Manuel just wanted to show that he was the strongest today, but the most deserving driver of the victory is who crosses the finishing line first. So Alessandro Maggio wins for the first time this year in Superlights at Singapore Grand Prix.
Our 5th different race winner of 2024, but all eyes turn to the man who is set to finish in P3. The Frenchman's already hit the wall as he comes to the line, but the boy who couldn't has done it. Alex Laho is your 2024 GPVWC Superlights champion. The dream is realized. Alex Laho is on top in 2024. What a special, special moment for that young man. Wonderful. It's been a dominant season. It's been a brilliant season, and it may not have been the victory today, but in 2024, Alex Laho was untouchable. He wraps up the double for Road to Formula as well, both the drivers and the team's championships. Wow, completely and utterly deserved. As the new race winner celebrates with the new champion, Alex Laho, your name is going down in the history books. 2024 GPVWC Superlights champion with 2 rounds to spare. Unreal.
Last year, champion Owen McGaughey, champion in Singapore. This year, the champion also at Singapore in Superlights. I think it's starting to be a trend.
It's just unbelievable, isn't it? It's just unbelievable. I'm a bit lost for words, actually. I'm getting a bit emotional. Alex is such a lovely guy, and well liked. Well, I mean, everyone likes to take the mick out of him, but everyone really, really likes him. And this is a championship that will be very, very popular. I think it is safe to say. Alex Laho is your 2024 champion. He finishes P3. P1 changing right at the end, though, of course. Alessandro Maggio, for the first time in 2024, a GPVWC Superlights race winner, with Biancialilla finishing in P2. Let's run down through the final order of things, shall we? As we see what a shot that is of the Road to Formula guys. Champion donutting around Team Boss. Alessandro Maggio takes victory. It's 1-2 for Vale with Biancialilla in second. Alex Laho, your new champion, rounds out the podium with Team Boss Sandeep Singh in P4. It was a spark 5-6 as well, with Vincent Gudd ahead of Pavel Andrzejewski. Jan Dragoon was 7th with David Fidok in P8. Alexander Ragota was 9th with Luke Mitchell in P10. Rounding out the top 10. P11 was Matthews Pishkam with P12, Tom van der Voort, Maxime Bulio and Remco de Joux. The Fusion guys finished back-to-back P13 and 14 with Michel Galka in 15th. Jan Sikora 16th, Usama Kanani in 17th, Thomas Cook in 18th, Chris Gitsoff 19th, and Purgis Miram in P20. They were both 2 laps down. See, Carlos, we did have more than 14 cars finish. We only lost, unfortunately, Davide Zanini, Dominic Koroshavin, and Florian Gaia. Well, Carlos, what a race that was. Our championships are done. We've got 2 races to go. Let the chaos commence, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, the championships are sorted in terms of the champions, but there is still a lot in play. There is still a lot of money for next season in play. There is still a lot of things. And today, Vale 1 and 2, they get a big launch in terms of points. So they get a bigger gap to True North, which was in P4 in the standings right now, in team standings. There is still a lot of things to play. Probably Maggio, I'm very sure he will want to try to end the season on a high and try to win more positions in the championship. I think now he might be P7, sorry, in the championship after this result. So, yeah, there is still a lot to play for. He can easily finish maybe P6 in the championship. So we shouldn't either just say, okay, it's wrapped up, bring on 2025. No, there is still a lot of things to play for.
Absolutely. There's still plenty of things to look forward to over the next few weeks. Don't you worry about that. Let's start off, though, with some interviews. Let's start, of course, with our race winner, Alessandro Maggio. First of all, Alessandro, well, not a typical race win, it must be said, but congratulations, you are finally a race winner in 2024. That's got to feel pretty special.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it does feel special. I think I need a moment. Hold on.
Of course,
Take
take
it.
as much time as you need. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're a race winner. That's all there is to say, isn't it?
I guess, yeah, but I think I wouldn't have won without the help of my teammates and especially Manuel. He did so much work in one single day of practice, and the setup he put up for the car was absolutely amazing. I had no issue with driving it and felt on rails all race long. So big congrats to Alex for the championship as well, and big thank you to Manuel.
Carlos, any questions? I'll hand over to you.
Alex, I cannot do this interview in Spanish as we usually speak, but I'll do it in English. First of all, congratulations, amigo. You did amazing today. You pulled a great qualifying lap once again. We know that this was a difficult season for you. And the question is, what can we expect the last two races? Because now you take a lot of points from this race, and I know you are a hungry driver, a hungry person. And what can we expect these last two races from you?
I'd like to say maybe a double win, but knowing Alex and knowing Road to Formula, I don't think I'll be cruising as I did today, but hopefully, and I mean hopefully, I'll try to be at the top again.
Well, I think it's up to them to elevate the game. I think you guys did amazing today, and you have to be very proud. I was expecting maybe Massi to come around to the interview to show us a bit some Italian lessons today as well, because today it was a pure pasta day. So first of all, congratulations to you, the whole team, everyone who is behind. And enjoy it and keep working for the coming races.
Thank you guys so much.
Great to hear from Alessandro Maggio. Let's drag in his teammate for this this evening, and well, the man who looked like he was going to win the race until the final lap. Anyway, Manuel, if you can hear us, wow, what a performance that was! Talk us through the ending, though. I mean, you were leading the race and then you weren't.
Well, considering the championship standings, Alex asked me to get through, so as a good teammate, I did it, and that's it. I didn't need the points or the win, so it was fine.
Well, very, very honourable of you to give up the win like that. But, you know, talk us through the race in general. I mean, it was an incredible performance from yourself. And I know it was fairly last minute as well, so...
Yeah, it was fine. When I put the salt, he just asked to not overtake, but otherwise I would have been stuck behind with the softs, and I didn't really want to, but yeah, at the end I told him I would have let him through anyway. So, not an issue.
Hello, Manuel. Here, Carlos. Probably we come from more or less the same academy from Musto. You probably remember those days, long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, I was with David Greco and all these guys. What can we? I mean, you came here as a reserve today, but considering everything you did today, can we see you next season here in GPVWC?
It really depends on how much time I will have, and yeah, basically that. If I have the time, I did FSR this year, so GP will see if I have the time, that can be an option.
Interesting. I think you will bring a lot of value to the team and to your team and to the league, and also even with one day, as Alessandro mentioned, you can bring very nice things to the table.
Yeah, well, if I stop choking every important lap in my life, then the results are there. But yeah, until that time, race merchant.
Well, you did amazing today, Manuel. So congrats, and well, next time just make sure to put a Musto logo or something anywhere. I'll do it as well.
Okay.
Take care, Manuel.
Bye bye.
Great to hear from Malmo there, and well, interesting to hear what Carlos sometimes says when he's not live on camera. Joking, of course. But well, Carlos, there's one person we need to speak to. Any
I don't
guesses
know
who
what
that
are
might
you
be?
referring to be honest, at the moment.
just talking to your friend, but yeah, there's one person we very much need to speak to, and I'm gonna drag him in now. Alex Laho, you are the 2024 GPVWC Superlights champion. I mean, congratulations. Talk us through it.
Hello. I just want to go to bed. Nah. First of all, big congrats to Alex Maggio for simply smashing us tonight. No pace, no race pace at all. Quali pace could have gotten pole, but we can remake the world with cooled and wood. Manuel Briancolila, Smurf Award. No, just kidding. Love you. But yeah, congrats to these boys for the simply driving 20 seconds ahead and checking out. From our perspective, it was pretty much like no man's land. So we were in VC together, like chatting about previous Super League drivers and champions. Yeah, it was a fun race overall, although not much action happened. Maybe like on the final lap, where Maggio sent it from 7 seconds back, which is like the best move ever seen in GPV. Congratulations to him on that.
This cringe guy.
What a move!
What a move.
The car was moving underneath him for sure.
He did a flip to overtake, and you will not be able to match that.
Yeah, nothing going there. Unlucky. Yeah, big thanks to, of course, my mates, Sandeep and Jack, Vincent, Harry, yourself, Carlos. Thank you for motivating me. Yeah, simply very, very good season. I'm happy to have fixed a lot of my past mistakes and past driving mistakes overall. Just keeping it on the track. And I dedicate this championship to Loic. If that's anything I wanted to add.
Very nice, Alex. I think we can all agree. You did an amazing championship, and I think next year, if you keep with Road to Formula, which I guess it is your plan, you will do an amazing job in Super League.
Yep, most likely. Sorry. I forgot to thank Victor as well for being there pretty much every race, just engineering us and telling us gap to pit, etc. Being the best engineer on the grid by a kilometer, because I'm not gonna say a mile. I'm not from the USA,
Oh my god.
But my bad. Whoa. I'm joking. No, but yeah. Thank you guys for streaming the races, Ross for commentating, Carlos, you as well. And yeah, I don't have really much to say besides I'm pretty tired. I have to wake up at 2 a.m. Oh my god.
Alex, I'm offended that I actually engineered you the first 5 races and you don't remember that. So next year, Victor is gonna engineer you.
Oh no.
And I'm not gonna tell you strategy. I'm gonna put a wall like Valentino Rossi.
Carob Gled, no Carob Gled. No setup. Nothing for you.
Nothing.
You finish the race a lap down.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway, thank you guys. I don't really have much to add except that maybe next year is gonna be my year, hopefully. And yeah, thank you to everyone who congratulated me in the chat as well. So yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you guys.
Take care, Alex.
Take care, man. And yeah, see you soon.
See ya. Shall we bring one more? Maybe the reserve driver, Pavel.
Yeah, we can bring Pavel in. Come on then, let's grab Pavel Andrzejewski in, shall we? Oh, you've already got him. There you go. Pavel, can you hear us?
Hello, I can hear you well.
Brilliant. Well, for starters, incredible drive tonight. That was brilliant. Yeah, fantastic result for you and the team. And yeah, you look really comfortable out there. So well done.
Thank you, thank you. I want to also to Spark team for this amazing opportunity, because if they didn't contact me, this wouldn't be possible to race today. They have also give me some starting pack to work on and to become even faster guy on this track and in this car, and it had paid off. And qualifying were really good. I think that this position I got was the maximum I could have gotten, and I maximized this result. Opening stint was also good. I had some quite interesting battle with Daniel Fidok. I don't know if you have seen it, but it was interesting from my side. Also, a little bit of a learning process, because I've used up a lot of push to pass on the opening stint, and then I had to save on the second stint, which was kind of boring, because I knew that these medium tires are just to cruise and to have them as long as softs cannot go. And I've pitted maybe one lap, maybe 2 laps too early, but we had to cover Daniel Fidok on this last stint, so this was my decision to do this. And maybe I undercut Sandeep and Vincent on opening laps, but the tires were crying in the closing stages, and I was defenseless against them.
Well, first of all, Pavel, you did great. You did amazing. The most important thing: are you happy with your performance today?
Yes, definitely. I'm very happy. The test races didn't show such good pace I was showing today, and this is a good surprise for me. I know that there are a lot of lessons taken out of this first race in Superlights in a long time, so if I've had to do one more, I think I will be even better. But I'm not pushing. I'm glad that I did this race, and this is really good achievement for me.
I'm very sure more opportunities will come to you after the performance you pulled out today, especially the last 2 rounds. So I'm very sure it will come.
Yes, I hope so, but I don't know if I can manage to do races week by week. We'll see.
Yeah, it's very tiring to do week by week FS1 and then SL2. But well, it's the end of the season. A small effort can be done.
Yes, definitely. It's really fun, and it's really rewarding to be racing in high places, in high spots, and for 4 points. So every time I will be racing in top 10 will be just the happiest moment of this season for me.
Well, congratulations, Pavel, and enjoy tonight's night, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Well, great to hear that from Powell, and great to hear from everybody tonight after an incredible evening. I mean, there's a lot more people that want to speak to us. Unfortunately, we just do not have the time. So we're going to have to leave it there. But man, oh man, Carlos Martin, what a race.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It truly was. Thank you very much for joining us for the 14th round of the GPVWC Super Light Series. Of course, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time when we head to the Circle of the Americas. I wouldn't bother tuning in this Thursday for Super League because Carlos Martin isn't racing. So, there's not really a lot of point in watching it, is there? But of course, GPVWC Super League returns Thursday evening. We're there, same time, same place. But again, as I said, we'll see you in 2 weeks when we head to Texas.
See ya!